Hey babies, welcome back to another Deck Tech and Modern League video, and for this video we're playing Mill, which was a viewer request. The deck list we'll be playing with is on screen now and in the description below. It's relatively cheap, at least to play on Moto, and the base 60 of this list is taken from another list that I saw online, and I'll link that in the description as well. So let's get into the deck tech. For our creatures, we're playing 4 copies of Hedron Crab and 4 copies of Ruin Crab. They're more or less the same thing, but Ruin Crab is a little bit better, because it has a toughness of 3 instead of 2. And it doesn't target to mill, so hexproof doesn't protect our opponent from it. They both say whenever a land enters the battlefield under our control, our opponent mills 3 cards, so they work really well with fetch lands and Field of Ruins. For our other mill spells, we're playing 4 copies of Fractured Sanity, which is a 3-drop that mills each opponent 14 cards, and also has cycling for 2, where we can discard it to draw a card, and also have them mill 4. We have 4 copies of Tasha's Hideous Laughter, which exiles cards from the top of our opponent's deck until they hit at least 20 mana value total, and 4 copies of Archive Trap, which is probably our most explosive mill option. That's free to play if our opponent searched their library, like with a fetch land for example, and mills them for 13 cards at instant speed. Supporting our mill plan, we have 4 copies of Visions of Beyond, which draws a card, or if a graveyard has 20 or more cards in it, usually after we mill our opponent a little bit, we get to draw 3 cards and it turns into an Ancestral Recall instead. And we have 3 copies of Surgical Extraction in the main deck, to help us get rid of pesky cards that we happen to mill, and stop our opponent from drawing more of them in the future. 4 copies of Fatal Push gives us some early game interaction and removal, and 4 copies of Drown the Lock plays the role of both counterspell and removal very nicely. We have 1 copy of Crypt Incursion, as a way to exile creature cards out of our opponent's graveyard if they happen to be playing Living End or Dredge, or just gaining us a bunch of life against aggressive decks. 1 copy of Baleful Mastery, which we can use as either creature or planeswalker removal, and 1 copy of Murderous Cut as creature removal that doesn't care about mana cost. In our mana base, we have 4 copies of Field of Ruin, 4 copies of Polluted Delta, and 1 Flooded Strand. All of these work really well with our crabs because they cause multiple lands to enter the battlefield under our control, and Field of Ruin works really well in particular with Archive Trap because our opponent is forced to search their library with it. We have 2 copies of Watery Grave and 1 copy of Darkslick Shores as our dual lands. And this deck gets to play a lot of utility lands, so we have 2 copies of Shelldock Isle, which has Hideaway 4, and we can cast the spell Exiled with it if a library has 20 or fewer cards in it, so it's usually best when it casts the last mill spell in a game. 1 copy of Mikakoro Center of the Sea, which is a colorless land that has a Howling Mine effect. 1 copy of Oboro, Palace in the Clouds, which for the most part just acts like a regular island, but we can also pay a mana to pick it up if we just want to get landfall triggers. And 1 copy of Otawara for its flexible bounce ability. And then finally, we have 4 basic islands and 1 basic swamp. In our sideboard, we have 2 copies of Engineered Explosives, mostly for decks loaded with 1 and 0 drops, 3 copies of Extirpate for matchups where Surgical Extraction is really good, or if we don't want our opponent to be able to interact with them, and 3 copies of Soul Guide Lantern for graveyard decks, 2 copies of Echoing Truth for flexible bounce and removal, 1 copy of Eliminate as extra removal that can hit either creatures or planeswalkers, 2 copies of Ensnaring Bridge as a way to defend ourselves from aggressive decks that go wide with creatures, and 2 copies of Mystical Dispute for fighting off opposing blue decks. And that's the deck tech. Let me know what you think of the deck in the comments. If there's something you'd like to see me play in the future, be sure to let me know, and let's get into the games. Alright, round 1 with Mill, we won the die roll, which is fantastic, and we only have 1 land, which is not fantastic, so let's take a mulligan. Alright, we have 2 lands, we have a whole bunch of Mill and a Hedron Crab. I think I'm going to be bold and just keep all the mill and get rid of the 1 removal spell. Because this is a lot of mill. Just up front. I'm going to play the crab on turn 1 and hope that it survives till turn 2. Because I would like to either draw and play another crab or cycle Fractured Sanity on turn 2. Urza's Tower, sweet. That means they're probably going to search next turn too, and also our crabs should survive. Milieu. Okay. I'll go ahead and fetch. Shock you in. Milieu. Okay. Milled 2 power plants. When it draws with Chromatic Star. And concedes. Huh. They must have missed a land drop there. Did they keep 7? I thought they did. They kept 6. That's kind of a bold 6 to keep if it only has 1 land on Tron. Let's see. Do we just bring in extirpates and try to stop the Tron thing from happening as much as possible? I think that's probably what the plan is here. Let's bring you in. Let's cut Murderous Cut, Crypt Incursion. We can cut pushes too, actually. These pushes are actually useless. Cut pushes, bring in... maybe like Echoing Truths and 1 Mystic Dispute, even though it's just a terrible cancel. I guess. Just bringing in Mystical Dispute because Fatal Push is so bad against Tron. Drown the Lock isn't great against Tron either, but if we can mill them, at least we can counter something with it. Was there anything else we could have brought in? I guess maybe we could have brought in Engineered Explosives if they're going to bring in Chalice of the Void against us. But we'll have to see. Tasha's also isn't great. That could have been a side out, but oh well. This hand is definitely worse. I think I'm going to mulligan and try to hit something that can mill them in Surgical Extraction early. Like this. So we'll keep this one, and let's get rid of, I think, just one of the crabs. Having double surgical effect seems pretty nice. There's an argument that I should have kept all 3 and just tried to mill them as quickly as possible, but we'll see. Chromatic Star, okay. Another surgical. Alright, now I kind of wish that I put, like, Extirpate on the bottom. Watery Grave, Ruin Crab. Say go. When it cracks Chromatic Star, plays its tower, so we're going to be... oh, god damn it. So they do have Tron immediately. We're going to have to try to get their threats with the surgicals, is what that means. Which also is possible. We're going to mill them quite a lot and then have 3 surgical effects. Alright. Hedron Crab, Polluted Delta. First trigger. We see Oblivion Stone, Beseiju, Scavenger Grounds, don't care about those. Worm Coil Engine, Ancient Stirrings, Beseiju. I don't care that much about Worm Coil Engine, so I think I'm going to just go ahead and pop this again. Mill you. Ancient Stirrings, Force Chromatic Star. Karn the Great Creator, Oblivion Stone. Okay, let's extirpate Karn the Great Creator. See what they have in their hand. Alright, we got one. They have Blast Zone, Urza's Mine, Chromatic Star. And we did mill in Urza's Mine, so we can get rid of that from their hand. For some reason, I forgot that I could get it out of their hand for a second. Now they have a Chromatic Star and a Blast Zone in their hand, and I don't really care about the Blast Zone because it'll take a second for them to activate it anyway. And I might just be out of mill. Do I Surgical Chromatic Star? I think that's a little bit too much. Since they only have one more in their deck. Alright, they pop their Chromatic Star. We don't know what the second card in their hand is now. They play their Blast Zone. Makes sense. Field of Ruin would be pretty sweet. Hedron Crab. Okay. That's fine too. We can counter something if they go to play a threat eventually. And it looks like they're not popping Blast Zone this turn anyway. Power Plant, okie dokie. We draw Mikakoro. That gives us some triggers. Milieu, see if there's anything spicy in there. Not really. Milieu again. Card liberated, I will take that. They have Wormcoil Engine and Ugin the Ineffable in their hand. Okay. And they have 23 cards in their deck. Because they already have the things they want in their hand anyway, I think I'm going to activate Mikakoro here to see if I can draw some more mill. Because even assuming that they draw straight lands for the next several turns, it would still take at least 3 turns for them to get down something. We drew a Flooded Strand, that's pretty nice. And a Field of Ruin, that's not bad either. How many forests have we milled? Just one? They probably have more than that in their deck, I would assume. I forgot to check earlier, though. They might have not that many, though, since they have multiple Besages. Let's play Hedron Crab. Play Flooded Strand, Milieu. Go ahead and fetch with it, get an island, Milieu. Okie dokie. And opponent is very close to being dead again. Hooray! Alright, I will see you in the next one. Alright, round 2 with Mill. We lost the die roll. We have a 1-lander again, so let's mull again. Alright, 2 lands, 2 crabs, decent amount of mill, no fetches, but it's reasonable that we could draw one, and we have the old Archive Trap Visions of Beyond combo, so let's keep. Let's get rid of... What do I get rid of here? Probably Fractured Sanity? I think it's either Fractured Sanity or one of the crabs. I kind of like the crabs better, at least if we draw more lands. Opponent plays Bloodstained Mire. Okay. Insolent Neonate. Aw. Does that mean they're... What plays Insolent Neonate these days? I know Dredge used to. Maybe this is an old version of Dredge with Bloodstained Mires still? In which case, I kind of don't want to Archive Trap them right now, but I also don't know if they're going to be... I mean, we're here to mill people. Okay, so it's a Hollow One deck. That's not too bad. If they're going to be drawing a lot of cards, that might make my job a little bit easier. Let's play Ruin Crab. And pass. Hopefully things line up to where we play the second crab, land, and then Visions of Beyond to draw 3 next turn. That seems pretty sweet. Opponent is doing the Neonate thing. We milled a Flamewake Phoenix. So they're playing the Gruul Splash with Flamewake Phoenix instead of the Blue Splash, so this is probably pretty close to the deck list that I was playing. Alright. Opponent has Asmore in a cookbook and 36 cards. Let's play Crab. Play an island. Milieu. And Milieu. I think I want to go ahead and Visions now, because I'd like to draw Surgical Extraction for Vengevine. which I do not. Okay. It's a little annoying. They're probably going to kill one of my crabs, hopefully not two of them. I don't know if they're playing bolts or something. We haven't seen any removal, though. The Field of Ruins we can't activate right now because they only have basic mountains. But they have a Stomping Ground now, so that's good. 1, 2... They have a couple more mountains in their deck still, probably. They play Ox. Still just the one Vengevine in their graveyard, but they do get a trigger on it. Okay. Flamewake Phoenix comes back. And it's time for the beatdown on our opponent's end. We can block here, take 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They still have to use the Asmore activated ability to kill the crab. Yep. Hedron crab. How do I survive from here? I can mill for 6. I can Baleful Mastery to kill probably the Ox. And I think I just have to hope that they got a Vengevine again. That's kind of annoying. Hopefully they can't get that back. We'll see. So the issue is that I can't just block something for free with the crabs because the Blazing Root Walls can grow. And now they have another cookbook, so they can kill them too. Okay. So we have to kill the Ox. One of these is going to die. Block Vengevine, I guess. Take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Maybe they won't see it. I hope. Seems a little unlikely. Maybe they just won't attack with everything somehow. Plays Hollow One. Looks like they're going to get their Vengevine back, possibly, too. No, they aren't. Unless they cast this Ox. Which they are. Yeah, we're super dead. Maybe they'll just pass through combat. And we'll be able to draw something good and mill them. I don't know if that's particularly likely. But what I can say is that this seems like a really good Ensnaring Bridge matchup. So we're definitely bringing that in. Yep. I'll let them swing for lethal. I don't want to take that away from the HollowVine player. It's possibly the most fun part of the deck. Yep. And super dead. Alright. We bring in Ensnaring Bridges. And what just happened? I added a Mystic Dispute by accident. Crypt Incursion seems really good in this matchup. I don't necessarily want Soul Guide Lanterns. I'm not sure yet. The issue is like Fatal Push doesn't seem great, but it's fine when we're killing Asmore with it. I think I get rid of Murderous Cut. And I think I get rid of... I don't know if Tasha's is good against them. It seems like it wouldn't be. Let's get rid of 2 Tashas and add in an Extirpate. Try it like that. If they search on 1, I have an Archive Trap into a Surgical Extraction that seems really good. I don't have a second land, but I could try to find one with Visions of Beyond. I think this is... It's risky, but I think I'm going to keep it. I can go turn 1 Hedron Crab, hopefully draw fetch land for turn 2. Or just any land for turn 2, really. But we'll see what happens. They do fetch. Good start for us. Shotgun Stomping Ground, okay, and play Flameblade Adept. Okay. I would love to Fatal Push that. Let's Archive Trap you, see what you get. Insolent Neonate, Goblin Lore, Ox, 2 Asmores, 2 Vengevines. Do I Surgical now? I should at least wait until their draw step, I would assume. Regardless of what it is. We did not draw a land, so I'm gonna Visions to see if I can draw one. Lame. I think I want them to discard their hand to cast Ox. Trying to get, like, Vengevine back. Because I would rather them be down on cards and have a 5/3. Play Insolent Neonate, okay. They discard a Vengevine. So we are surgicaling the shit out of these Vengevines for sure. They have Goblin Lore, Flameblade, Blazing Root Walla, HollowVine. We really need to draw a black land. Or just any land, really, because... Specifically black lands so we can actually cast our spells, but... We need to draw lands so we can actually be in this game. Unfortunately. Yep, we take 2 down to 16. Drown the Lock. That is not a land. That's another black card. Alright, well, I think we're fucked. Surgicaling the Vengevines was fun, but... I think I might just be dead now. Unfortunately. Flameblade Adept, yep. Take 4, yep. We are at 12. We draw. Another black card, my god. It feels a little unlikely. But oh well. Cast Blazing Root Walla, that's fine. Not that we can do anything about it. How much damage are we taking next turn? I think it's lethal. If they find a land, at least. Because they cast Goblin Lore, they get a bunch of triggers on their Flameblade Adepts. They get in with everything. We have to chump block with Hedron Crab. We take 8, 9, 10, 11, I think. Oh yeah, they can kill the crab. So yeah, we are just dead. Well, GG's to our opponent. HollowVine is pretty sweet, so I'm not going to be very upset about losing to it. I'd like to see more HollowVine in the format. Opponent gets a shit ton of triggers, plays a Blazing Root Walla. Plays a land. Fetches with the land. Gets a mountain. Cycles Street Wraith. More triggers, more damage. And attacks for a ton. Alright, GG's to our opponent. That was a pretty sweet showing for the HollowVine deck. And I'll see you in the next one. Alright, round 3 with Mill, we won the die roll. We don't... God, we keep drawing one-landers, what the fuck? Alright, mulligan. Jesus Christ. 22 lands, you shouldn't be drawing this many one-landers, I feel like. It's a little bit unlikely. Like, it definitely happens, it's part of the game, but still. I think this hand has enough power behind it that I want to keep it. And I think I get rid of Tasha's because it's the one that actually costs 3, where Fractured I could play for 2. So it's a little bit less effective for the most part. Let's play Polluted Delta, get a Watery Grave, and go ahead and play a Crab. We made it very slightly less likely for us to draw land there, but I think it's better to use our mana effectively if we can help it. Since it doesn't make that much of a difference, it looks like we're playing against Burn. So if we don't draw the lands that we need, we're going to be in a bad spot. Because I assume this is going to be a pretty fast matchup otherwise. Visions of Beyond. Alright, so I have a couple different options here. I either play Ruin Crab, in which case I think they probably just bolt both of my Ruin Crabs. Or I play Visions of Beyond, hopefully draw a land. That's my high roll option. Or I just Fatal Push their Monastery Swiftspear, which is the safe option. If I got the high roll option, I would probably go Visions of Beyond, draw a card, Fatal Push your Swiftspear. But it's kind of unlikely that that happens, and I think I need to conserve life total as much as possible. We've seen 2 out of 22 lands, so 20 out of the 52 cards in my deck are lands. And only a handful of those actually tap for black mana. So I think I pass. I think it's a little bit too unlikely for me to draw the card I need off of Visions right now, where I think killing their turn 1 Swiftspear might delay them enough that I could still conceivably mill them in time. We will see. Unfortunately, this is a matchup where Tasha's is really good, so it kind of sucks that I got rid of that card. It's still in my deck somewhere, but we need to find the lands for it. If they go Eidolon here, I will absolutely Fatal Push the Eidolon instead of the Swiftspear. Searing Blaze. Okay. A little bit obnoxious, but not too bad. Let's kill you. 5 cards in our opponent's hand. We draw an island, which is a start. We can play Ruin Crab, give them something to bolt again. Mill them a bit. Skewer the Critics, Boros Charm, Swiftspear, Searing Blaze. I think I'm going to stop on their draw step and surgically extract Searing Blaze. Well, would I hit Searing Blaze or something else? Honestly, dealing 2 damage to myself for free is not a very good deal against Burn. It kind of doesn't even cost them a card if I get a card out of their hand, so I don't think it's necessarily worth it. Lightning Helix, okay. That's burn not going at me, so I'm okay with that. Sacred Foundry. Goblin Guide, okay. Land, please? Please land? Not a land. It's a Tasha's. Alright, I'm gonna cycle my Visions of Beyond here. Hopefully I'll get a land to go with the Tasha's, we'll see. We drew a land for eventually. Play Shelldock Isle. Take Tasha's Hideous Laughter. Okay, so I could cycle Fractured Sanity or I can cast Surgical Extraction here. Which one is reasonably better? Searing Blaze I no longer care about because I don't have creatures. They play a Goblin Guide, that's annoying. I think I want to surgically extract Boros Charm. I mean, it's an instant though is the issue. Ugh. None of these are good deals. Let's get rid of Swift Spear. That way if they have one in their hand, they can't play it in response or something like that. Rift Bolt, Lava Spike, Lightning Bolt. Jesus Christ. Okay. Well, they have a lot of burn in their hand. I think we're just dead. Because we are at 12 and we're going to take 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 here, most likely. And I really doubt that Tasha's can mill them that much. We'll see, I guess. Honestly, even if it did, as long as they went... Even if it did mill them that much, as long as they went Suspend Rift Bolt here instead of playing Lightning Bolt, they could still kill us even if we mill them at this point. Archive Trap. Not very useful right now. Play Atasha's. How much does it mill them for? 14. Not enough. And concede. Okay. Crypt Incursion is definitely good. Explosives might be good. I don't think I like Surgical Extraction at all. I think I want Eliminate and probably just Engineered Explosives, since they like having things on one quite a lot. Let's do it like that. I think it's going to be pretty hard to keep our crabs alive, so I think EE on 1 is pretty safe for the most part. EE on 2 is also kind of decent against them, since we can possibly kill 1 or 2 Eidolons that way. We will see. I wonder how many cards Tasha's hits on average against burn. Let's see. Double Island, lots of black spells, got a mulligan. 2 lands, we have Crypt Incursion, that's pretty nice. What do we get rid of? Tasha's was less impressive than I thought it would be. And Fractured Sanity we know we can use to at least cycle. So I think I get rid of Tasha's here. And keep the interaction. Ideally, I'd like to use Fractured Sanity to fill their graveyard up with a bunch of creatures and then play Crypt Incursion. No Archive Trap, unfortunately, here. Opponent plays Swift Spear, hits us. Down to 19, we crack Flooded Strand, get Watery Grave. Down to 18. We draw Ruin Crab. I will go ahead and play that. Mill Searing Blaze, Eidolon, Lava Spike. Okay. Opponent goes down to 15, plays Eidolon. Okay. We draw a Hedron Crab. Let's cycle Fractured Sanity. See if we draw land. We do not. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a land. They have 5 cards in hand. They bolt our crab. Nothing we can do about that. We take 4 down to 14. We're at effectively 12. We draw Archive Trap. I need to draw a land so I can play Drown in the Loch to kill Eidolon or Crypt Incursion, so I think I need to do Visions of Beyond right now. Damn it. Alright. Well, we have a lot of mill. If they happen to fetch and let us Archive Trap them twice, and then we draw a land, Crypt Incursion could be really big. But that's a lot of things that have to happen, and Roiling Vortex is not what we want to happen with Archive Trap coming down. Unfortunate. Yeah. Things are bad. So we would take 5 to Archive Trap them. We're only gaining 3 from the Crypt Incursion right now, so it's not really worth it at this point. Yikes. Take 1. Down to 7. Draw a Hedron Crab, and we're dead. Okay. Unfortunate. I'll see you in the next one. Alright, going into round 4, and we won the die roll. We have a lot of lands, which is at least not a one-lander. We have a decent amount of mill and some redraw, so I think I keep it. Our opponent's mulliganing, so that's nice. If I can turn on Visions of Beyond relatively quickly, this hand could be really sweet. Snow-covered plains, Springleaf Drum, looks like Hammer probably. Okay. Let's play Flooded Strand and pass, planning on getting a tapped Watery Grave at end of turn. I'll probably hold the Polluted Delta for if I draw a crab. Our opponent has not played a fetch yet. They might play Stoneforge Mystic eventually, though. Ha 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 ha. Alright. So opponent's gonna search. And they're gonna get Reality Chip. Interesting, so they're planning on playing a bit of a long game. That also means that they probably don't have a way to equip Colossus Hammer yet. So I think that means I shock in this Watery Grave to stop them from drawing an extra card. Otherwise, I would think about just giving them the draw so I could have less cards left in their deck. We milled Shadow Spear, Colossus Hammer, we milled their Cauldron Complete, a Sigarda's Aid, and a Pure Steel Paladin. 2 Pure Steels, actually. We draw Field of Ruin. Interesting. I'll probably play that as my turn 3 land. So I can kill Inkmoth Nexus, but let's just play a basic island here and pass. Planning on cycling Fractured Sanity. I'll pull up their graveyard so I can look at all the cards in it. Reality Chip, cool. They didn't draw something better that they wanted to play. Second Springleaf Drum, kind of interesting. I thought they only played 1. Maybe not all lists. And they attack us for 1. Ow. Alright. Cycle you. Mill you a little bit. Draw Hedron Crab. Draw another Field of Ruin. 17 cards in our opponent's library. Or not library, in their graveyard. What the fuck am I on about? Let's play Hedron Crab. It's a blocker at least, and we can play... Do I play the Field of Ruin so I can Field of Ruin twice? Possibly. I think I just play Polluted Delta and get my blue mana fixed. Target you. Okie dokie. And pass. $20 cards in our opponent's graveyard. They play. They're just reconfiguring Reality Chip. That's fine. Steel Shaper's Gift. I could play Visions in response and see if I draw a Surgical. I don't know what they're going to get anyway, though, because they can't automatically equip anything, so I guess we just let it happen, right? Because they're just thinning a card out of their deck for us at this point. They get Colossus Hammer? Okay. Let's fetch. Get an island. Mill you. Okay. Okay. Our opponent does not find something with the fetch. Sweet. We hit their snow-covered plains. That was quite the high roll. Holy shit, that was sweet. All right. Esper Sentinel. Okay. Ah, that was so lucky. All right. What do we bring in? Explosive seems good. Ensnaring Bridge probably also comes in because it stops the 11/11s and whatnot from hitting us. Eliminate's probably correct as well. Soul God Lantern doesn't really do enough. Extirpate probably not enough. Crypt Incursion can go out. I think we want to keep all the removal, and I don't think I want to cut any surgicals, so I think I might just go... Let's go down a couple Fractured Sanities, and maybe I don't bring in Bridge. Because if they have Sigarda's Aid, they can just hit us anyway, and it might just be better to try to mill them faster. While, like, killing their creatures? Let's do it like that. Because they don't usually get that wide of a board. Unless it gets very late game. And I think we just want to try to go as fast as possible milling them. We don't have black mana immediately, but we don't need it immediately per se. And we can get it with Field of Ruin if we have to. We have a decent amount of mill. Let's keep. Tasha's is pretty sweet against Hammertime, so it's nice to have it. And Ruin Crab can stop some of their like chump attackers. So this seems reasonable. Field of Ruin can keep Inkmoth and Urza Saga in check. Flooded Strand, unfortunately no archive traps. They get Hollowed Fountain. Esper Sentinel, okay. Murderous Cut, we will be able to play that one of these days. We'll play a Crab and pass. What you got, opponent? Urza's Saga. Sigarda's Aid. No attacks, they didn't even feign it. That's just weird. Alright. Let's play Polluted Delta. Mill you a little bit. Okay. And I'm probably going to plan on playing Baleful Mastery here. We'll see what happens. Second Urza Saga, that's a little obnoxious, but okay. They don't attack again, so they still don't have something to equip. Let's get Watery Grave down to 17. Mill you a little bit. Okay. They'll get to draw 2 cards off of this, but I don't think I really care because it does get cards out of their deck anyway. I would love to draw a Surgical Extraction and just happen to mill the right thing. Polluted Delta. Alright, so I have the option now. Do I So I can just go Tasha's Hideous Laughter plus mill them for 3 or 6. Or I go Field of Ruin, get rid of... I guess I have to get rid of the one that's about to ultimate because they're going to be able to get an equipped Colossus Hammer, but I could also play Field of Ruin them, mill them once, and mill us once, and then play Murderous Cut, which does seem kind of sexy. That does not seem that bad. I kind of like that plan. Oh, this is Ruin Crab. I can't do that. God damn it. Alright, well, I'm a little locked in now. We milled Inkmoth Nexus. That's nice. We have 40 cards to go in their deck. That's probably not happening right now, at least. We can Field of Ruin, reduce the amount of constructs that they're going to have access to. Or it would be the same amount if I hit the one that's on 2. Actually. If I hit the one that's on 1, they get to hit us with the construct here, which is obnoxious. Because otherwise we can Murderous Cut it. I wish there was a way that I could do this to where I can kill their construct and then also just Field of Ruin the other one out of having any constructs, but I think Otawara is going to have to come in and help me out with that. Because I'm going to want to... Yeah, they get the same amount of constructs this turn anyway, so I think I just pass. And plan on Field of Ruining the other one. Am I thinking of this wrong? They don't really have that many artifacts anyway, so I think I do just get rid of this now. And stop them from getting the equip even in play. I think that's correct, if I'm being realistic about it. Mill them for 3. Spell Pierce, Sigarda's Aid, Giver of Runes. Okay, that's fine. Opponent gets a construct. Ticks up Rose's Saga. They have 35 cards in their deck. I doubt Tasha's could hit for that much, but it can probably hit for a decent amount against them. I'd guess around 20 usually, since they have all the 0s and 1s. Stoneforge Mystic. Okay. They're doing this instead of making a construct. That's interesting. Colossus Hammer. Okay. And they don't attack? What's going on? What's happening? Where am I? Definitely playing the new Field of Ruin. Mill you and mill you. I guess I possibly just could have gone Polluted Delta Tasha's here, but I think they're holding up a Spell Pierce since we've seen Spell Pierce in their graveyard and they didn't just go for attacking with the construct there. I still don't know why they wouldn't have attacked at all. Unless they just really don't want to equip up that construct for whatever reason. But now I have Murderous Cut on because I can get a Swamp here and mill them for 6 more. So I'm not particularly scared. Especially since 17 is not the amount of damage that they usually do on a swing. 22 cards in their deck. Okay. What you got, opponent? They didn't do anything there. Let's block one, make sure we keep at least one crab. Do I care about taking 12? I probably care about taking this much. Let's see if they have protection for their creature or not. Please don't. Yay! We got it. All right. I feel a little bit better about this run now, and I'll see you in round 5. Okay, final round with Mill. Let's get this 3-2. I know I believe in the deck. I've gotten a 5-0 with it already before. We have 3 lands, which is the correct amount. Which is a nice little surprise. We have black fixing, we have Shelldock Isle as something to do in the future, some mill, some interaction. Other than not having a crab, this hand seems great, so I think I will keep it. Let's see what our opponent is up to. Hopefully they give me a free archive trap. Doesn't look like I'm going to get that. Oh my god. Oh my god, is this hollow one again? Well, I guess we'll see. Play Shelldock Isle, put... Ooh, Crypt Incursion seems kind of sweet. I think I'd say Crypt Incursion if this is hollow one. I don't know how quickly I'd be able to activate Shelldock Isle, but that seems like a really nice card to have under it. Ox, Asmore, Street Wraith. Off of a Goblin Lore. Do they have hollow ones in their hand? Please, no hollow ones. Yes, no hollow ones. Okay. We drew Fatal Push. That's kind of nice. I think I want to shock in Watery Grave so I can Fatal Push this turn. We could also possibly just cycle Fracturing Sanity, but I think I want to cast it for full mill. They play Wooded Foothills. That's kind of nice for us. Let's just get rid of this. They sack Wooded Foothills. So they have an Ox, which costs 8 other cards from their graveyard, so they can't quite do that yet. If we Archive Trap here, they could, though. But also Archive Trapping is probably going to be a little hard to do because they might not draw more fetches, so let's go ahead and just do it. Vengevine, okay. It's hilariously unlikely that they play this deck twice, that we play against this deck twice in a single league, but I'll take it, I guess. I don't quite want a Fracturing Sanity yet because we might just die to Vengevines, and that would be pretty unfortunate. It's an ETB trigger. I suppose I want to play Shelldock Isle. See what's in here. Archive Trap, okay. Realistically, I think I only need to hold them off for like 2 turns. I'd like to go a bit further than that because I'd like to be able to play Fracturing Sanity with the Crypt Incursion Archive Trap, or Crypt Incursion Shelldock Isle up, rather. They cast a Vengevine the old-fashioned way. Okay. Pretty sure I'm going to exile that with Baleful Mastery here. Seems like a reasonable thing to do since it exiles. get to draw a card, that's fine. Really just makes them go down a card. Hedron Crab. Okay. Let's play you. Let's play Field of Ruin. Mill you. Okay. Might be playing Drown on the Lock here. If not, I'm going to just Field of Ruin them for the mill. And for a little bit of mana fixing on my end. And then I should be able to just go Fracturing Sanity Archive Trap next turn. And then they will be dead. Searching with Wooded Foothills. Gets a mountain. They already had 3 mountains that we milled. It's possible that I should have Field of Ruined in response and they might not have found what they wanted. Insolent Neonate, okie dokie. So now they can just play Ox and get back a Vengevine. But if that's all they have, I don't really care. They sack Neonate to play Root Walla to get back Vengevine. Okay. I'm at 14, so they would need a lot. Asmore. Okay. They find a cookbook. They're probably playing 3 total of that. So unless they have 1 more cookbook in their hand, they shouldn't be able to kill Hedron Crab here. I don't think I necessarily care about Hedron Crab anyway because they only have 24 cards in their deck. And I have 27 cards worth of mill for next turn. They discard Wonder, give Vengevine Flying. That's fine. They play Hollow One. Okay. They play Blazing Root Walla. Okay, no cards left in their hand, and we have it. Very sweet. Go ahead and do the Field of Ruin thing. Because I do need 1 more island. Milieu. Okay. Take the damage. Down to 10. Okay. Play an island. Milieu. Okay. Cast you. Cast you. Hooray. No cards. Alright. How do I want to change how I played? Ensnaring Bridge is definitely correct. Because of the Vengevines, I guess I do bring in Soul Guide Lantern. Even if it feels kind of goofy with Drown on the Lock. Maybe I cut down some amount of Drown on the Locks, actually, because I'm not usually going to be countering their spells, I don't think. Or at least it's kind of clunky. And I think Tasha's still just isn't that great, because it gets stuck in hand with Ensnaring Bridge. And they have a bunch of, like, 5 and 4 drops in their deck, just incidentally. So it's a little bit less ideal than normal. Crab Visions. This hand's kind of high rolly if we draw an Archive Trap or not. I think I will keep it, though. Just because I'm kind of against mulliganing anything that isn't a 1-lander after the first couple of rounds with this deck. And Burning Inquiry is also a factor that I forgot to think about. Alright, so we lost a bridge into Visions of Beyond, but we got a Tasha's, and we're still kind of mana heavy. Second Tasha's is kind of nice, though. Let's play Ruin Crab and pass. Maybe we can just Turbo Mill them in time with double Tasha's and some triggers from Ruin Crab. We will see. Bloodstained Mire fetches. Not afraid of the archive traps. They didn't sideboard out all of their fetch lands. Foolish. Stomping Ground, Flame Blight Adept, and Cookbook. Okay. We drew another crab. That's very good news. Although that does mean that they can get their Ox back. Jesus Christ. We milled double Vengevine. That's kind of icky. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We can't quite fire off Visions for a draw 3 yet, so we're going to have to wait. Blood Moon. That's a little weird. Alright, I'll get an island, I guess. We don't have a swamp, unfortunately, but we don't have any black lands anyway, so it's kind of okay. Why would you bring in Blood Moon against Mill? I don't know. I don't think they can 20 us in one turn if they didn't even attack with Flameblade Adept there. And they only have 2 cards in hand. So I think we just go Milieu, play Tasha's, untap, play Tasha's again, and you're probably dead. 11 cards. That is less than I expected. But we get to mill 6 with Field of Ruin. They discard Blood Moon to Cookbook. Okay. They only have 18 cards in their deck. 17 now. Even if they get back all their Vengevines, I don't think we're necessarily dead. I think we're dead to them having a lot of CMC in the bottom few cards of their deck with Tasha's. I think that's the main thing that we're concerned about. I can fire off Visions of Beyond for a draw 3 before playing Tasha's too, so that's kind of nice. Ox, okay. Opponent draws 3 cards. They only have 14 cards in their deck. We can definitely kill them with Tasha's Hideous Laughter now. And they still only have the 2 Vengevines in their graveyard. Although they could discard one with Underworld Cookbook, but then they also have to have a creature they can cast. And that's still not quite enough Vengevines to deal 19 damage. Cycle Street Wraith. Okay. Do they have an Asmore? Asmore could kill one of our crabs and possibly mess us up. Flamewake Phoenix, okay. 2 cards in their hand. Insolent Neonate, getting back 2 Vengevines. Okay, we don't have to worry about any more Vengevines now. Since they can only trigger the one time when you cast your second creature spell in a turn. And I think that means that we have it. That's kind of cool that we got to see HollowVine twice. I do just like the HollowVine deck a lot. It's very sweet. They have 12 cards in their deck. So yeah, they're basically dead. They don't have any mana. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Take the damage. Okay, we're at 5. And we're Gucci. Milieu. Milieu. Tasha's Hideous Laughter. Hooray! The redemption arc against HollowVine. And we did finish with a decent running, so let's open up 1 treasure chest, since that is what we have earned today. See what we get. It will open for me. Archon of Justice. And a decent amount of play points, so that's okay. That was a lot of fun playing Mill. Like I said, my first run with this deck, I just happened to draw really well and play against some good matchups. So I wound up going 5-0. So it's definitely possible too. The deck is really sweet, and this deck is basically the same list that I saw from a couple different 5-0s on MTG Goldfish. I just changed around the sideboard a little bit. It's a lot of fun to play with. It's relatively cheap to play both in paper and on Moto. So yeah, check out Mill if you want to feel like you're a little bit smarter than a Burn player, but not really. And I'll see you in the next one.
Hey everyone, Shoe Nice again. Well, basically, go subscribe to Tez's YouTube channel. And for those who made it to the end of the video, thank you.